We are live. What's up? Billy Carson here, Forbidden Knowledge. Let me see if I can check out what the chat room is doing from my phone here while I'm talking to y'all. Just want to. We are live. What's up? Billy Carson here, Forbidden Knowledge. So I hear it going in the background here, which is cool. Let me take this look in the chat here, and I can see what's going on in the chat. I'm just popping in on y'all midday. A little midday surprise. I want to talk about living in the moment of now, just really briefly, just take a couple of minutes to talk about that, because it's been something that's been kind of burning on my mind recently. And it's something that I, even myself, have been dealing with. And, you know, basically checking myself and bringing myself back into brain-heart coherence and being able to just get my alignment back and realize what I need to do is focus on the moment of now. And so these things are going to come up in your life. That are going to cause and create issues and situations that might even blindside you. You might not even be aware that these things are going to happen or that they are even happening. But once you do finally realize it, you can check yourself or you can get caught up in the past. And so this is something that we really, really need to check ourselves on, because as you know, time is an illusion, and the past, present, and future all happen at the same time. So let me see who's coming on in the chat here, because this is a YouTube live, all right? And so I'm just gonna pop in here real quick. I'm also gonna upload this video to Facebook and Instagram and everything else when I get a chance. I'm just gonna pop in here real quick and see who's in the chat. Let's see here. Let me get into this chat. But so we're going to talk about the moment of now for just a few minutes. I'm not going to take up too much of your time today. I see that we do have some people here, which is pretty cool. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for logging in. So, you know, the moment of now, what is that? Well, we're talking about the closest that we can actually get to real time. You have to understand that we ourselves, as we are in the third dimension in this avatar body, we're receiving a stream of consciousness that comes in on an angle and is collected and actually downloaded and encapsulated into this avatar body. Now, how does the consciousness get locked into the avatar? You have three important pieces of the biological avatar that help to secure the conscious stream to this third dimensional body. The first thing is the neural correlates of consciousness. The neural correlates of consciousness is actually three giant neurons that wrap around the inside of the skull. And it looks like, under an MRI or a CAT scan, it looks like a crown of thorns. If you're familiar with the stories of Yeshua or Jesus in the Bible, he wore a crown of thorns to his execution day, which was the crucifixion, right? Well, the crown of thorns is really an allegorical type of a statement. They're referencing the neural correlates of consciousness that every single person walks around with. We all walk around with a crown of thorns. It's on the inside of our skull. The second thing is the neocortex. The neocortex, which also means neurine, is responsible for higher levels of reasoning and consciousness in the human body, in the avatar body. And then the third thing are the magnetite crystals. There's billions of magnetite crystals in the brain. They are receivers of signals and frequencies. So those three things together help to encapsulate and lock in and hold in that stream of conscious energy that's coming in from higher dimensions, because you are a multidimensional being on the spiritual and from the spiritual standpoint. So now what's happening is you've got this stream of consciousness that has now come down, stepped down through different densities to get to the third density. It's captured and encapsulated. The frequency is captured and encapsulated by your avatar body, and it animates the avatar body. And then we navigate through this holographic matrix based off of data that we receive from our five senses, and in some other cases with certain people, 6 and 7 senses, depending on how adept you are, okay? And that's how we navigate through this matrix. Now, once you're in the third dimension, you have to realize something. The stream that's coming in into the consciousness, into the brain, I'm sorry, because the brain doesn't create consciousness, it downloads consciousness. The stream of consciousness that's coming into the brain and animating this avatar body is coming from higher dimensions, stepping down, and it takes time. There's an actual time that it takes before it actually gets into the avatar, gets translated or transmutated and understood and activated. And so there's a time difference. Now, scientists have discovered this time delay. This is a well-documented scientific proof now. It's not pseudoscience, it's not guesswork, it's documented science. And what they've discovered is that there's up to a 7-second delay in the time that information is acted upon and the time that we actually perceive it's actually occurred or acted upon. And how they did this was they put people in a room, and this is several experiments. You can look these up. I talk about these in a lot of my lectures. And what they did was they showed pictures on the screen. They put a cap on everyone's head with electrodes on it to pick up the EMFs, the electromagnetic frequencies coming out of the brain, because every thought that you think, every thought creates an EMF, a frequency that leaves out of the skull as a wave of light, a light wave that you can't see with your naked human eyes because the human eyes can only see 1% of the light spectrum, but we create waves of light that generate outward, radiate outward from the skull into space-time permanently. Every thought you've ever thought about is already existing out there. That's why references from the ancients to the Book of Life or the Akashic Records is very accurate, because all information from every sentient entity in the entire universe exists in space-time as waves of frequencies floating all around. Okay, they're out there. And so it's important to understand, that a lot of the times you might get an idea about something, but in true reality, you were actually downloaded information because you matched the frequency of a light wave or of another being. It could be another earthling, it could be somebody anywhere in the universe. Or you've matched that information and you've downloaded it and you've discerned it, and then you've actually taken action on it. And so sometimes some of our greatest ideas just come directly from the ether itself. But anything you could think of has already been thought about somewhere in the universe. And a lot of the times we're just downloading information because we're set up, receptacles are set to download, okay? And so what happens is the past, present, and future from higher dimensions happen all at once, but in the third dimension, there's a delay. So with these caps, they put on the caps, they're reading the computer screen to see what the brain looks like when it's trying to perceive feelings and emotions. And on the screen, they were showing pictures of serene landscapes, beds of flowers, women hugging and kissing babies. And then they would show something horrific like a bad car crash or somebody getting murdered. And then they would see what the brain looks like on the computer screen based off of what the input was coming in through the eyes. What kind of emotion did that generate? And how can we evaluate this by looking at how it lights up on a computer screen? That was the original experiment. However, what inadvertently happened was they started noticing that every image was showing up 10 seconds apart. That's the way they set this. That's the way they set the experiment. But up to 7 seconds after some time into the experiment, up to 7 seconds before the next image was going to be shown, the human brain in most test studies were sending information directly to the computer as to what the next image was going to be before it appeared on the screen. They said, whoa, wait a minute, wait a minute. How is this happening? How is the human brain sending the information for the next image up to 7 seconds in advance before it even shows up? That took the scientists down a whole new rabbit hole. So they started coming up with all these various different experiments that all came up with the same exact answer. There is a time delay in between the time that we actually perceive what's happening and what's already happened. And so we have to be mindful and understanding that we're not living in absolute, true, real time. There's a delay factor in there. And this is why discernment and higher levels of thinking are so important for you to be able to navigate through this matrix at a high level. Okay, so this is why it's important to understand this and important to understand how to live in the moment. So what does that mean? Give you an example. Now, everybody is, not everybody, most people, I should say, are like in the ocean. And as the waves crash over them, they then become aware of the moment that they're in. Wave crashes, oh, I've got to get in my car and go to work. Wave crashes, oh, it's time to eat my lunch. Wave crashes, oh, this just happened, that just happened. They're living in a reactive state. They're not really living in a state of real time where they're riding the wave instead of being the wave crashing on them. When you're living at a higher level of consciousness and discernment, you're on top of the wave and you're more like you're riding the wave. So you're closer to real-time information. So you're able to make quicker decisions and changes and adjustments to your reality before something negative, bad, or alternative happens. So the higher state of consciousness that you can acquire and the better discernment you have and understanding, the closer you are to getting the real-time feed of data, information from the universe, and the easier it is for you to live your life and avoid or avert bad situations. Give you an example, Michael Jordan, one of the greatest basketball players, arguably, of all time, okay? He's been quoted many times as saying, I let the game come to me. When I'm playing the game, everything slows down. What is he talking about? See, playing basketball or any sport at the elite level, doing any hobby at the elite level, doing yoga, meditation, those are all meditations. Yoga is a meditation. Basketball is a meditation. Playing tennis is a meditation. If you're a hobbyist, whatever your hobby is, it's a form of a meditation. Even knitting is a meditation. And when he gets into the zone on that basketball court, a switch flips, and he gets into his meditative state. And when he turns that meditative state, turns it on, he actually raises his awareness level closer to real-time data. And because of that, like he says in his own words, everybody looks like they're moving in slow motion. You see him making all these crazy, unbelievable moves, and he's weaving through the air, and he's avoiding all these contacts, and he's making these layups and these dunks. In his mind, from his perception, when he's in that meditative state, everyone actually is moving slower. And he's moving at closer to real time, and he's able to see passes before they're made. He's able to see the next play before it happens. He's able to see what the next move should be. He's literally living closer to real time. And from our perspective, as people that are not in that heightened state, it appears that he is a superhuman and he's making all the incredible moves on the drop of a dime. When in true reality, everything has slowed down for him and he's moving at what we would call a normal or regular pace. So it becomes easier for him in that state of mind, that meditative state. So, you have to realize we all have one of these, really connected to our avatar bodies while our spirit is attached to this third dimensional realm. And, this is our katra, this is our life force. All right. And this is the life force draining down into what the minds will call the underworld, right? But now what we really only have is this point right here, this 0 point. This in the third dimension is all we really have access to, is this 0 point. Unless we achieve higher levels of consciousness, we rise up multidimensionally to realize what's really going on above us. We tap into more information up here so that we're not just living. Now, the average person is living down here, waiting for the sands to drop on them. And then when these sands drop to the bottom, then they realize where they are. Most people don't know that you have to make the most of this 0 point, because this is where you stop and smell the roses. This is where you enjoy every minute or every moment of every single second that you occupy this third dimension. For others that become adept initiates, they recognize a higher level of thinking and they rise up to higher levels of thought and access this multidimensional content and information up here, okay? So you have to realize that if you're not making the most of this, you're definitely down here, and where you're just living literally moment by moment, waiting for every single grain of sand to drop on your head, and then you wake up to realize what moment you're in. The people that are operating down here, typically in most cases, are not having the greatest of time in this third dimension. They're having a lot of issues, a lot of problems. These are the people that call you on the phone and you say, hey, how you doing? And they always have a bad news story. They always have bad news. They always have a bad situation happening. They can never seem to have a good day. Everything is always wrong. Everything is always going south. You know, they can't pay their bills. They're having all kind of family problems and issues 24/7. There's always something that I just got 4 flat tires and all this kind of crazy stuff. These are the people down here. The people here, a lot more happy, a lot more excitement, a lot more joy for life and living and understanding and giving and empathetic. And the people that raise up to here, they rise up to an even higher level. These may most likely be a lot of the people that could have come through incarnation many dozens of times, maybe even hundreds or thousands of times have been here. And these are the super ancient people up here living at this higher thought process here. But either way, you want to be between here and here, okay? And that requires meditation, understanding, unconditional love, care for others, respect for others, okay? Trying to focus on eating a mixture of high energy foods to help you keep your frequency up, and also becoming a problem solver instead of becoming a person that whines and complains all the time. Try to focus on addressing issues head on and trying to become a problem solver and not a complainer or a whiner, okay? That's very important. And when you begin to see and understand that you're a higher dimensional being, what's going to happen is you're going to go from here and you're going to flip it. And then you're going to start tapping into this higher level of consciousness up here. And you're going to begin to really enjoy life in the third dimension. No matter what comes your way, you'll be mentally prepared for it. You'll be able to handle it. You'll be able to sustain yourself. You'll be able to walk in abundance. You'll be able to recognize and enjoy life the way it was meant to be enjoyed. You'll be able to help bring heaven to earth, okay? So that's just a word I wanted to share with you guys today. Just a little talk that I wanted to have real briefly, something that came across my mind as I even myself was struggling with something that happened in the past, something that I recently learned about, you know, not directly with me, but indirectly, but still had an effect on me because I was connected, you know, to these people in a way. So, you know, you can't allow yourself to just continue to dwell on the past, because the past is a memory. As long as we're in the third dimension, it's a memory. The present is the moment of now. It's the only moment that you actually exist in. And the future is basically a thought or probability. So it's a superposition of possibilities based on thoughts that you're making in the moment of now. So if you really want to see an alternative future for yourself, what you can do is you can get out a piece of paper and you can write down where you are right now in your life at this moment. And then you can project 5, 10, 15, 20 years into the future and say, if I make no changes to what I'm doing, the way that I'm living, the way I'm thinking, where am I going to be in 5, 10, 15, 20 years? Now you get out another piece of paper. And then I want you to close your eyes and envision different realities, different future realities. Then pick one that's the most suitable for you, the one that you would really like to obtain or move into your reality tunnel. And then write down the things it takes to begin to achieve that future reality. And then you become a time traveler, just like that. Because you then create ripples in the space-time continuum through conscious light waves from thinking and writing and creating a new reality, putting plans and effort and energy into it. That energy, those ripples that you're creating are going to alter your future reality in this third dimension. I guarantee it. All right. Just a little word from Billy Carson, aka Forbidden Knowledge. If you want more esoteric wisdom and some more teachings, go to forbiddenknowledge.tv, or you can go to the short URL 4bk.tv, three digits, and you can sign up for a free 3-day subscription on there and check out. We have over 3,000 shows up there right now. And my Egyptian mystery schools right now currently have, I think, 35 episodes up and another 30 or 40 episodes in editing. So it's a huge series and it's about 36 hours of teaching. And so far, it is the #1 series on Forbidden Knowledge TV, which you can watch on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, and your iOS and Android apps as well. All right. Again, my book behind me, Woke Doesn't Mean Broke, is a bestseller already. And if you have my book, you get an email automatically that gives you access to my free weekly workshop for book owners only. I do a free workshop every single week for people who own the book. Woke doesn't mean broke. It's a financial spirituality workshop that I do every Saturday at 8 p.m. All right. And then you get access to the replays again for free. Doesn't cost you any money. Again, peace and love. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for logging in today, taking the time to watch this video. Please share it. Please like and subscribe. And I will try to share this video to other places online as well. Have a great day, everyone. Love y'all. Bye-bye.